Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, we're bringing you a heartwarming story that reminds us of a powerful truth. Greatness isn't about big moves, it's about the courage to take one small step, even when no one's watching. Whether you're chasing a dream, building a habit, or finding your strength, this story will show you how small efforts, done consistently, can change your life forever. So stay with us till the end, because one simple moment in this story will change everything. Once in a quiet corner of a peaceful town, lived a cheerful 12-year-old boy named David. He was in 6th grade and loved playing outside more than anything. His favorite activity was soccer, which he played every afternoon at the nearby public field. David wasn't a top student, but he had energy, passion, and a great kick. Life felt simple until one school day changed his outlook completely. That afternoon, David came home unusually quiet. He slumped onto the couch, opened his math book, stared blankly, and leaned back with a sigh. His father, just returning from the garden, noticed and sat beside him. "What's wrong, son?" he asked gently. David looked down and said, "I failed my math test again. No matter how hard I try, I just can't beat Matt's scores." David's father brought him a glass of water and asked him to join him in their shady backyard garden. As they sat under the trees, his father said, "David, I want to teach you 3 lessons today. These lessons will help you for the rest of your life." David looked curious but still confused. "How?" he asked. His father smiled and said, "Through 3 challenges. For your first challenge," his father said, "I want you to invite Matt to play soccer with you tomorrow." David raised an eyebrow, unsure how this related to math. But he agreed. The next day, the sun was bright and the sky clear. After school, David asked Matt to join him for a soccer match at the field. Matt, though hesitant, agreed to come along. The field, David was in his element. He scored 3 goals and led his team to victory. Matt, on the other hand, struggled. He fumbled the ball, missed passes, and often lost his footing. Still, everyone had fun. Afterward, David rushed home, eager to report the results of the game to his dad. He felt proud and a little curious about what it all meant. In the backyard, David excitedly told his father about the match. "I played with Matt. I did great, 3 goals, but Matt, not so much." His father nodded and said, "Exactly. Matt may not be great at soccer, but he shines in math. And you're amazing at soccer, but still learning math. We each have our strengths, David, and that's the first lesson." David's eyes lit up with realization. "So, I'm good at one thing, and Matt's good at another?" His father smiled. "Yes, and that's okay. You don't have to be good at everything. Knowing your strength is the first step." David nodded slowly, now understanding that comparisons were unfair when everyone had different talents. "For your second challenge," his father continued, "I want you to quietly observe Matt tomorrow. See how often he works with numbers." David accepted the challenge. At school the next day, he paid attention to Matt closely, not out of jealousy this time, but curiosity. What he noticed surprised him. Matt was always counting. He worked through math puzzles during free periods, solved riddles with numbers at lunch, and even counted petals on flowers at recess. David was impressed. That evening, he told his father, "Dad, he's always doing math even for fun." His father nodded warmly and said, "That's your second lesson, David. Matt is good at math, not just because he's smart," his father explained. "It's because he practices it all the time, just like you do with soccer. Skill comes from repetition, from doing something again and again. If you want to be good at something, you don't need to be born with talent. You need to practice." David thought deeply about this. David looked at his dad and said, "So, if I want to get better at math, I have to practice it like I practice soccer." "Exactly," his father replied. "Start small. Even counting petals can be practice." David smiled. He hadn't thought of learning like that before. He was now excited for the third and final challenge. "For your last challenge," his father said, "tell me, how much better is Matt at math compared to you?" David hesitated. "I think maybe 3 times better." "All right," his father nodded. "Then tomorrow I want you to study math 3 times harder than usual. Let's see what happens when you match his effort." David gulped, but agreed. The next day, David came home and sat down with his math book. He studied for 1 full hour, his usual limit. Then he kept going for another hour, and then 1 more. His brain ached. His eyes grew heavy, but he didn't stop until his head finally slumped on the table, and he drifted off to sleep. That evening, his father gently tapped him awake. "Dinner's ready," he said softly. David sat up, rubbing his eyes, feeling disappointed. "Dad, I couldn't finish the challenge. I tried studying 3 times harder, but I ended up falling asleep." His voice was low, filled with guilt and self-blame. His father sat beside him and said kindly, "David, this is what happens when you force yourself to master something you don't love. Discipline feels like a burden, but when you love what you're doing, effort feels light." David listened carefully. "So it's not just about working hard, it's about working on what you love too?" "Exactly," his father said. "If you want to become truly skilled at something, either choose what you already love or learn to love what you're trying to improve." David nodded slowly. These weren't just lessons anymore. They were truths that he could carry for life. From that day on, David approached math differently. He didn't rush or force himself. He started small, solving 1 simple problem a day, just like he'd practiced his soccer. Slowly, the numbers started making sense. And more importantly, he didn't dread opening the book anymore. Matt noticed the change and said, "Hey David, your math's getting better." David grinned. "Yeah, I've been practicing. 1 small step at a time." It was no longer about beating Matt. It was about becoming better than yesterday. That made all the difference. Months passed. David's grades improved, and so did his attitude toward challenges. He helped others with soccer and started encouraging classmates in math too. He had learned that small efforts could bring big rewards, and that every expert was once a beginner who just didn't give up. One morning, David looked out at the soccer field, then back at his math notebook. He smiled. He had become someone who didn't fear challenges anymore. Because now he knew a secret. You don't need giant leaps to succeed. You just need 1 honest step. Every single day.